Let's just talk about Prince Harry, shall we, very quickly. This is the front page. It's a very strange front page, I think, for the Telegraph. Harry, how they tried to trap me in the firm. Oh, here we go, diddums. The Duke of Sussex believes his police protection was withdrawn in an effort to prevent him and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, from leaving Britain to start a new life. He said this was a very difficult decision. It was difficult to swallow. He said the king is at the heart of this conspiracy against him. Look, at the end of the day, you are not going to be a member of the royal family. You're not carrying out your duties as a member of the royal. So why are we paying?
Because you decided not to.
Because you decided not to. Ravek decided that you did not, therefore, need police protection, but you could have it on an ad hoc basis when you come back to the UK if you're coming back in a formal capacity. And he basically says that this was used as some sort of massive conspiracy to keep him and Meghan in the UK. No, it wasn't, Harry.
It's sort of a bit of a break with reality, I think. I just think he just... look, with Prince Harry, I veer between getting very angry about him, the things he says and the way he's acted, and then actually just feeling really quite sad about it all, because, you know, for years he was, the sort of, people liked his personality. He seemed very warm. He had this sort of slightly cheeky, chappy persona. You know, he has served in the armed forces. He, has set up the Invictus Games and clearly cares very much, about veterans and all of that sort of thing. And then, look, I'm not just going to blame it on, him meeting the wrong sort of woman or whatever, but then things in the last 5 years, things in the last 5 years have just veered dramatically off, and he just seems so very, very isolated, which is where, as I said, I veer between getting very, very angry with him and he's just mad, slightly delusional.
Well, I was about to say, so you mentioned to me off air that he was almost delusional, and the more I thought about that, I think you have a point. He is so detached from reality that he believes he has a God-given right to have police protection. Now, he says, it's not my fault, I was born into this family and I've had protection all my life and therefore I can't live without it. But you made the choice to leave this country.
I mean, it's quite literally, I feel there's some awful joke in here about having your cake and having your jam and eating it or something.
Yeah, dreadful jam, very expensive jam.
Very expensive.
Sprinkled with love, or whatever it is.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But yes, as you say, we were talking, I just think, there has been some kind of break from reality, break from, rationality, even by the standards of which, of course, he was born into very unique and very privileged circumstances, but even accepting that, the whole way he seems to have been going about things and looking at life in the last, 5 or 6 years, I mean, it just doesn't, accepting that privilege and accepting the uniqueness of his life, none of the decisions he's made seem to make any sense. And let's also bear in mind, he's got this other, the other ongoing issue rumbling away in the background is whether or not we're actually going to know what happened with his application to go to the US. And obviously he admitted in his book that he had taken some variety of drugs, which is obviously, you're not meant to do that if you're wanting to get into the United States, and there's various legal machinations going on with the Heritage Foundation, which is a sort of US-based sort of think tank outfit, as to whether we're going to ever know what really happened with that application. So, look, as I say, that he has a lot going on, but he just, look, at best, he just doesn't help himself when he comes out with this stuff, which, by any reasonable, judgment, most people look at and just go, what are you, what are you talking about?
Well, I agree, that's what I think every time I read anything about him and Meghan. What are you talking about?
And Amy, sort of also the idea that sort of Ravek and the Home Office could be involved in some kind of grand conspiracy. I mean, it's just a nonsense.
Royal Sussex Squad family, welcome back. Today we're diving into yet another hit piece from the British media aimed at tarnishing Prince Harry's reputation. But here we don't fall for the spin. We break it down, we tell the truth, and we defend Harry and Meghan against the toxic narrative that's been chasing them for years. So buckle up, because we're not letting the Telegraph or anyone else get away with dragging the Duke and Duchess of Sussex without consequences. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, faced a barrage of criticism when he requested police protection in the UK. Headlines screamed about entitlement and privilege. But behind the tabloid frenzy lies a chilling truth. Harry and his family faced credible threats. These weren't mere annoyances from overzealous fans. These were serious security concerns, including threats from extremist groups like al-Qaeda. Harry, who served 2 tours in Afghanistan, understood the gravity of these threats. He knew the dangers firsthand. His pleas for protection weren't about special treatment. They were about the safety of his wife, Meghan, and their young children. Many questioned the validity of these threats. They dismissed them as the ramblings of extremists, unlikely to be carried out, but Harry knew better. He had seen the darkness in the world. He understood the very real danger these groups posed. Ignoring these threats wasn't an option. It was his duty as a husband and a father to protect his family. To ensure their safety, he needed the kind of security only the UK government could provide. This wasn't about luxury or status. It was about fundamental human rights. The British media, often quick to sensationalize, seemed equally quick to dismiss Harry's concerns. They painted him as paranoid, out of touch with reality. This wasn't a new narrative. The British press had long held a complicated relationship with Harry and his wife Meghan. Their every move was scrutinized, their words twisted, their actions misinterpreted. This time was no different. Instead of engaging with the legitimate security concerns, the media chose to mock and ridicule. They turned a serious issue into a public spectacle. This dismissal, however, went beyond the media. Even within the British institutions, there seemed to be a reluctance to take Harry's concerns seriously. His requests for police protection were met with resistance. His offers to pay for it declined. It was as if the very institutions meant to protect him were turning a blind eye. This lack of support was disheartening, to say the least. It spoke to a larger issue, a systemic unwillingness to acknowledge the very real dangers Harry and his family faced. To understand the importance of Harry's request, one must understand the complex security landscape he navigated. This wasn't just about paparazzi and overzealous fans. This was about organized threats, fueled by hate and extremism. Harry and Meghan, particularly Meghan, had become targets of vicious online abuse and harassment. Much of this vitriol stemmed from their decision to step back from royal duties, a move that upset many traditionalists. They were accused of betraying the crown, of disrespecting the Queen. This online hate spilled over into the real world, manifesting as death threats and disturbing messages. The threats against Harry and Meghan were amplified by their high profile. Every public appearance, every move they made was scrutinized and analyzed. This constant attention, while part and parcel of public life, also made them vulnerable. Their every move was tracked, their whereabouts known. This lack of privacy, coupled with the very real threats they faced, created a climate of fear and uncertainty. So let's keep showing up for Harry and Meghan. Let's keep calling out the hypocrisy, the racism, and the blatant cruelty. Because this isn't just about royal gossip. This is about justice, truth, and breaking free from toxic traditions. If you're part of the Royal Sussex squad, hit that like button, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like to support this channel and help us keep bringing you these honest breakdowns, you can donate via Super Thanks. It really helps us grow and keep this conversation alive. Until next time, stay kind, stay sharp, and always stay Royal Sussex strong.